Hello, guys. Welcome to Drumfills Kafé. Welcome to be there with us. Like every week, we have like artists, like or music passionate, like talking about what it thrilled them to be a musician or a crafter, like for drums or music instruments, or like a doctor talking about like how he likes to treat musicians. Sometimes we have bad habits and everything. So if you didn't know, Drumfills Cafe has a website. I really suggest you to go at drumfillscafe.com. You have a lot of information there. All the interview we did by the past, we have more than 300. We have an article. If you didn't know, we're like an hybrid magazine, so we have like people writing article for the platform. We have contests. We have a little school coming out soon. So I really suggest you to take a look of the website. So let's go right now with our artist of the day. He's a drum builder, he's a drummer. I want we talk with him about all that. Let's welcome Jeff Wood. What are you doing, buddy?
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for to accepting the invitation. It's pretty nice. Thanks for being there.
Oh, thanks. I'm honored to be invited, for sure.
Cool. Well, I'm very happy because I see your progression since years building drum. But before we go with drums, like as a drum builder, let's talk about your drummer side. When did you start like your passion, like playing drums? How that become like a lifestyle? Let's say.
Yeah. Well, like many kids in Canada here back in the day, I started in the school bands. And I actually kind of defaulted to drums when I think I wanted to play saxophone first, is what my instrument that I chose when I was in grade six, five or six. But my mother said, well, if you're gonna play saxophone, you gotta start with clarinet. And I went, well, I'm not gonna do that. I said, well, I'll just play drums then. Okay. So I started drums just in spite of that. And it, went through the whole school band and jazz choir and jazz bands. And I'm from a small town, so there wasn't a lot of drummers. I got to go on a lot of band trips to, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and stuff like that from my small town to sit in with the jazz choirs and stuff. And just always, it hooked me from the beginning, So music was in my blood, I guess.
That's cool. And were you influenced by the day? Influences back the day, like rock band, or like you were like who, like some drummers you wanted to listen to them all the time?
Well, you know what, I was and still am a massive Beatles fan. Always was. And my first drum teacher that I had in my town introduced me to Fishbone and Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
So those were two. I know I had the Truth and Soul record and Joe's Garage. So those were two, like, come on, a kid trying to learn some Vinny licks, right? So it kept me determined for sure. But those were basically, between the Beatles and those two bands, artists, and primarily, I got into the Soundgardens and the Pearl Jams and all that stuff in the early '90s for sure. And that was that was my gig for sure back in the day.
Yeah, that was a great music scene back then in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like the grunge rock have influenced so many people. And they were like really, for me, it's the same, like a bit like you too. Like I've been in the punk rock and in that grunge scene, and I really like the energy they were pushing on stage, at that time was kind of new, because just before you have band like Poison and like more like Hairspray band, like it's cool, but it was not connecting to me at that time. But I feel you on that, like big time.
I'm gonna put those guys out of work.
No, yeah. They decided no more guitar solo is done, or like 8 bars, and that's it.
Yeah.
But they were good too. Like you see, like Bon Jovi or Motley Crue, or like Motley Crue's still running, and they're amazing. Like on stage, it's big show. But I understand your feeling. Like I was really thrilled to see like Alice in Chains, for example, like or bands like that, like Mother of Love, and it was good time. And it's cool. And after that, I realized you've been already 10 years running, like you're building your own drums. So
Yeah.
before that, why did you choose like, okay, it's just one day you said, okay, I want to do my drum because I want to try something, or you were like, I don't like what I necessarily see on the market, or I want to make something different. What triggered you? Because it's a big motivation, it's a big investment to start to build drums.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, it didn't. There was no plan going into it. I can
Okay.
guarantee you that. I was a big. I had an AOT kit built for me in
Yep.
'95,
Mhm. Yep.
and that was the first time I was ever kind of put any thought into custom drums. And I still have the kit today. I had to get a bank loan for it. It was a
Yep.
massive amount of money just for a little 4-piece drum kit. But fast forward many years later, um, I I had the snare drum from that kit. Actually, I had Ray do some work on it for me, and it
Okay.
kind of just I just got like kind of bit by a bug at that time, just seeing how cool it was that
Yep.
like I felt like how I felt towards Ray. I was like, wow, man, this guy's like he's like a rock star. He's like a rock star to the rock stars kind of thing, right? And
Yep.
it just got me really thinking about it. And I was like, well, I started playing around with just sort of doing little modifications of snare drums and stuff. And then someone asked me to build him a drum. I built a couple drums just with some sort of shells I got on the market, and then I decided I was going to try and make my own shell. And I did a little bit of research. I didn't put too much thought into it. I just thought it can't be that hard. Later on, I realized how difficult ply shells are to make. But the first one I made, I actually pulled it out here today. This is the first one that I ever made. So it was my first
So
attempt
cool.
at a ply shell. And this is a maple shell that actually worked. So
Okay.
it's probably not the greatest. The joints aren't perfect, but there pretty damn good. And so I think I got lucky on my first try, and that just enabled me just to keep on going. And I've had some pretty good success in the last 10 years, and kind of getting my name out there a bit. And I'm just really enjoying it. I'm just having a blast with it. Meeting a lot
Yeah,
of cool
that's
people, and
for sure.
it's a wild ride, and I'm just getting going on it.
It's good because I see you really try to be distinctive in the look of your kit, and what I've seen, the people really dig the sound and they really like it. For example, I knew you build your shells, but for example, how many plies are they for like right now, or do you do like a variety of plies? Like how do you work those shells?
Typically, I'm just doing a 6-ply shell
Yep.
with re-rings. That's my standard.
Yep.
And it's actually the veneer that I get made is a 2-ply veneer. So it's actually only it's actually only 3 pieces of wood that I use in the shell, but they're 2 plies each. So technically, it's a 6-ply. Some people can call it a 3-ply. And then I'll do ply re-rings, or sometimes I'll do. I started steam bending
Yep.
solid wood, and I did those on my 10th year anniversary snare drums. It's a lot of extra work, and it's a bit of a pain in the butt. But I've
Yeah.
never really not done something because it was hard. It's kind of like I kind of like to do stuff that's difficult just to see if I can do it, and just see it all the way through. It's something wrong up there. I don't look for the
No.
easy way out. That's for sure.
Yeah, but well, if it's cannot be if you don't try, you need to, even if it's wrong, you will try. We always learn by mistakes, and I think
Right.
you make some of those, and you just said like your first snare was actually pretty cool. So you have your ideas in your head already. And about the edges, what are you going 75, 45, 25? Are you more vintage roundish? Like you have your thought
Yeah.
about that? Yeah.
Yeah. I do an inside 45 and an outside roundover bit, and
Okay.
then I hand sand them. And a lot of people make a big deal out of bearing edges.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the way that I do them is always worked since the beginning, and I do them on all my drums, on all the drum kit shells, do them all the same, and I've had nothing but great results. Um, you know, there's some people who will argue about bearing edges all day long. I don't think there's that big of a deal with them. I think you just need to have something that's square all the way around,
Right.
and get the right heads on there and tension it properly. You're gonna have a great sounding drum.
Yeah, I was just asking because I never re-hedge my shells, whatever kit I have, and I own it maybe 25 sets. But the point is, like, I know people, they're really, like you said, like they're really into that, and they're gonna go to a place for just redo all the edges to clean them. I think the only time I've seen some issues, not on my kit, but some friends, some drums, I won't say names, but they were going so points, like that, it was so narrow, the
Yeah,
top. I seen sometime going down, or if it's somebody hit the edge, you
yeah,
can see a little. But
yeah,
after that, the one they're tough with ring for like yours is very rare. You have to reel it, but it's not a bad thing. Maybe an old kit from the 70s or
yeah.
50s, a vintage
Uh,
kit. But for modern kit, I never have to do it again. So or
Yeah,
redo
well,
it.
there's like I said, there's people have different opinions on it. I know a guy who down in Portland who he gets brand new production kits. I'm talking like I'm not gonna say any brand names, but like some really hot brand name drums, and he re-edges them right away. And I'm just like,
Oh, really?
I don't get that. I don't see that. My ears don't work that good, I guess. But I mean, if someone brings in an old '70s kit that had the bottom, the reso heads off, and because they were playing rock toms and touring with a band, and they've been thrown on the cement with the bare edges. Sure, those need some work done to them.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but many times, a lot of people do bring drums by my shop and ask me to redo the bearing edges, and I've sent them back with them without even touching them, saying you don't need them. I'm not going to take your money for it's not going to do anything, right?
yeah,
Um,
totally.
I've done lots of them that have like for instance that are chewed up and look like they've been hand cut with a handsaw or something like that. But besides that, I won't touch them if they look good
Yeah.
and they tune up fine.
I'm 100% with you on that because I know friends, they do that with guitar amplifier. They were getting like Mesa Boogie or Marshalls, and they have like a guy in Quebec City. It was modifying them right away when they're brand new from the shop or the store, and it's cool. You do a good job, like, but you really modify in a way, give more power. Maybe it's cool for some from project, but I know some diehard like classic guy, they won't never do that. Like when it
Yeah,
just came out from the shop. You can order those things from the shop actually, but it takes
you got to get the
forever.
dial that goes to 11.
11, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That movie is amazing. Like back in the days,
Yes.
and all the drummer die actually, so it's nice. Garden accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I want to continue with your drum because I realized something. You put only high quality hardware too, like mostly Donnet stuff. Because I like what Ron do. So I really like what you do because it's I've seen so many like custom companies. They do cool kit, but they don't put the right hardware.
Right.
This is picky things. I would say that because I toured all my life. I did more than 5,000 shows, and I'm still right now on the tour. So like on a show, but so I can afford to have like weird hardware. Like it's cool for people if you don't move too much, but I really think what you do with your kit, you make your shell and you put top hardware. How important was you for you to do that combination?
Well, I wanted to set myself above everybody else and you know try and be unique and just be absolute top quality. Like I said, there's so many custom drum builders out there. There's some real good ones. Um, and one thing that I knew right off the bat was the consistency and continuity. That that's one thing that Ron's always done really well is he's got his thing going and he doesn't stray from it. Um, I, and I obviously picked that up from him. Just by nature, just by what I was doing, I figured that I need to keep it consistent, all the way around.
Yep.
And I don't want to go. I don't want to have a student model and a pro model. It's like it's all pro model all the way.
Yes.
You're not. If you're looking to save some money, I'm probably not the best guy to come see for a drum. So
Yep, I feel you because it's at that price range, at this that's quality kit. If you want to cut for cheaper like Seri, let's say, you won't make that. It won't make that much difference at the end because now supplies are hard to get. Sometimes it's expensive, so the fees, you won't save so much. You will need to produce kit like shells like cheaper, and it won't be your stuff at the end. So it depends on
Right.
how you. I understand your vision on that, and and what I like too, like I said at the beginning, I like the way you. I went to your website. I look at pictures of snare drums. There's a full concept around, and I send you even a picture of a purple blackish kind of
Yeah.
like you do. And this is another color I never seen something like that before. I think I seen a kit from Sonor like back in the days with like 4, 5, 6 different color, kind of
Right.
mismatch, but
Yeah.
never something like you did. And I like that finish. How you treat that kind of finish is it might be a long process, or you have because you have might do a different layers, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We were talking about briefly something about mistakes, and that the way that I am doing those finishes, I call them multicolor finishes. Is
Okay.
it was born out of a mistake. Like a
Okay.
lot of successful builds I've done, and I call it a save. Right? It's something that that typically are like, oh, I really screwed this thing up, and I'm like, well, I'm not done so much work to get to this point here to build a shell, cut it down, get it finished, and spend all that time on it that I won't let it go. I mean, sure, I've had some that didn't work out, but those finishes right there were born out of a mistake, and it's a bit of a secret now.
Yeah, but they're cool. They look very cool. And I've seen, for example, like you just didn't try with one color. You have a few different colors. So basically, someone can call you and can order a custom mistake. Just joking, but you can never
Exactly.
order like say I want like a color, let's say red, orange, and blue, and you will make something in that kind of
Yeah.
color range. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
And and
and it's fun to do too, because it's not they never end up. You can't really plan how it's going to turn out. You just kind of have a vision, and sometimes you kind of take a left turn
yeah,
or a right turn, and you end up somewhere
yeah,
a little bit different, but you know um,
yeah,
that's the
it's cool.
process, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's like a bit back in the days. Not everybody do that, but back in the days, Pork Pie Bill the Tamor was doing like he was taking brass shell and he was alterating them with like the platina was changing color, and he started to do that, and now many people do that.
Yeah.
Maybe before him too, but I remember when I was kid, I remember to see one of his the first snare was like that, and you never know which color is gonna come out. It's like
Mhm.
it's a process, a chemical process. So
Yeah.
and it's cool because it's a kind of unique piece, so you're the only one to have that. So
Yeah.
I think
Now,
it's nice.
everybody's doing, there's so many guys out there doing patinas on various
Yep.
different types of metals and stuff like that. And, I don't have to worry about that because it's wood's custom drums. It's not metal custom drums, right?
It's
So,
up. Yep. No, it was just an example of how that you never know how it come out. But
right.
so and to continue with the finishes you do, because now I've seen a lot of matte color. Do you gloss color, or it's only
No, it's not that I won't, but I would have to, I don't have the facilities to spray high gloss. And
yeah, it's complicated.
at one point I did, I bought the equipment to kind of try it, and I quickly realized I don't have the facilities. And
Yep.
it's a if it's, especially you're doing high gloss and all the buffing and everything like that, it's got to be awesome. Like, that's, if you're gonna do a high gloss, it's got to be a high gloss, right? So there's people that do that stuff and do it well, and I'll concentrate on the building the shell and making it unique in my own way.
I
I could
understand.
send it out probably and have somebody do that if if someone really wanted to do it and pay that extra for it, then I'm not against it. I haven't done it at this point, but somewhere down the
It's
road I might have to.
Yeah, it's it's not that easy. I remember like Orange County Drum back in the days, they were doing with an external supplier. It was a car shop, and they were spray painting and doing the lacquer for them because they have the facilities. It was easy for them, the room, and yeah, but it's more time, more expensive, more everything. So it depends of where the people, if they are okay to pay that or to wait for it,
Yeah,
because sometimes you could wait like months and months and months.
right.
So how long is your
If you
range? Oh,
if you have a high gloss and it's not done right, no
yeah.
matter how nice the wood is, it's going to look like a cheap drum. It's not going to look like a nice drum. And to me, it just kind of, you potentially ruin something really nice. It doesn't come off as good as the natural wood tone in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, actually, talking about that, I seen what your custom snare you did for Dave from Pearl Jam, like back in the days. Good job, by the way. Like amazing snare. Like I seen, it's already sold out. I was curious and I checked out, all sold out. But how that became like a partnership with him, because he's a cool guy and I really
Yeah.
like the way he plays. So how that became possible?
Well, I've been in contact with Dave for a few years now, and I just dropped him a line out of nowhere back in, like, I guess it was 2017. I think it was around 2017 when Pearl Jam was being inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there's a whole thing around Dave not getting the invite and stuff like that, and Dave was huge influence on me. We were just talking about the Seattle scene stuff in the 90s. He was massive for me. So I just sent him a friendly private message. I didn't even think he would get it, and just saying, we tell him that we all love you, man, and you're a huge influence on so many of us. And he answered back, and we just kind of kept in touch over for the next little while. And then I asked him if he would be okay if I sent him a drum. I wanted to build him a drum, and he said, yeah, sure. And he wanted, I wasn't really ready to do the 12-inch diameter at the time, but of course he wanted a 12x7. I was like, oh man. Okay, so I had to build a mold just specifically for that, and I did, and turned out really good. And I actually finished it in a real nice orange. I called it Versus Orange, so it's the same color as the CD for the Versus album, and sent it to him, and he really liked it, man. He would send me recordings that he did with it, and then just over time we just kind of threw around the idea of doing a signature snare drum, and I was like, yeah, man, let's do it, right? And and the next thing you know, here we are, we're doing it, and it's been in the works, like, quietly for a while, but I softly released a small batch a few days ago, actually, and it didn't last very long. So I'm waiting for some more materials, and I'll just be doing them in small batches. There's got a lot of fans out there, and a lot of people, really want to get their hands on one of these drums, and they're really cool. They sound great. It's not something that I would have in my setup aside from an auxiliary. I've actually been playing it on this kit right here, just as a little side snare drum. Yep. And it's I've been having a lot of fun with it. So.
I'm sure. And what I like about it is it's super classic. Like the shell color is nice. The design, custom design, like a round badge in the back with the little details, tube lugs. Like the snare it's a signature snare, but it's not like something it will flash too much. You're gonna get bored of it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not because you need to go signature, you need to go crazy in finishes. Like I think this snare is super nice, what I've seen. But when I was surprised too, when you say 12x7, I was expecting a 13. Yeah. I'm a big fan of 14 and 13. 12 I play with 12. I have a few back home, but exactly like you, it will be mostly like mainly a side snare on the hi-hat. And but I think it depends on the tuning. You never know. I have a friend, he was playing with a 12 as a main snare, but he was reversing the stick and playing with the tip down, so with the big side of the stick on it. Yeah, and with a very like a snare head very low, so you couldn't get it was a 12, maybe a 13, but like it was way deeper. So it always depends of how you want. And I think they wanted something more snappy, I guess, like snappy with body on it.
Yeah.
So
he's going to be doing I'm waiting for it any day, actually. He will be doing a recording of him playing it, because he just got his. He's got number 1. I got number 2. This is actually the number 2 right here.
Oh yeah.
Got some wood burning on it. So this is a very special one.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's all classic. The little detail, the black, the on wood finish, nothing like it's perfect.
Yeah, this is number 2. Dave has 1, and he just got it, and he was sent me a couple of real nice emails just saying how much he loves it, and he's going to be putting out I think he's going to be doing a Pearl Jam song with it. I think playing it. So I'm looking forward to hearing that and seeing what he does and seeing how he tensions that thing up. And anytime Dave plays, it's him playing just by the way he tunes his drums. You can just tell it's him and his cymbal work. I can tell him from a mile away that that's him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
Oh yeah, big time. I remember MTV when they did MTV, like the award. I was a kid, and I remember the performance, and I was blown away. You know, it was a
Yeah,
super good performance, and I've seen them a couple of times when I was very young, and big fan too. And like you said, he has a touch that's important. I don't know for you. Maybe it's more a question about you as a drummer. Um, for me, I always like the first hear a drummer playing his first kick and first snares. Pa, he always give that signature for the drummer, and for me, that's really important to feel that groove. How about you as a drummer? When because you just mentioned you could hear what is the how you like to build your own sound when it's more like the tuning of the kit, or is more the way you will hit the kit, or is more like the vocabulary you will put on your rhythm? How you build your own sound normally when you play on a kit?
yeah. It's a really good question. I've never even thought of that. I typically like my drums to be really big and natural sounding. Um, Cymbals to be fast and dry. I the kit that I have back here, every time I play, I sit behind, I just go, man, he's just like for being in my living room, how great they sound. They're just huge. Like it sounds like I'm on a stage with them, and I just kind of myself a little quiet pat on the back all the time and say, okay, this is exactly my sound that I'm going for, and it's big, right? Big and open, and just if anybody wants to put a moon gel or something on, I'm like, get that out of here,
Yeah,
kick
move
drum,
that out.
wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the size of these? This kit is 1324, or I cannot
Yeah.
see well.
1324, 14 by 14, and 16 by 16 floor.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to add I might add an 8 and a 10 concert tom on it. I might be doing that whenever I get some free time. So it's in the works. So I don't know. I'm going to have to, I used to have it in a corner over here, and it's kind of like, it's growing. Even now I got the Abruzzi snare drum on the side, so I need a little bit more room.
No.
I had to change the position of it. And I've overtaken a lot of my house. My wife's very forgiving.
Okay.
So I
Thank
gotta
you.
be careful with that,
Thank you.
Yeah. She doesn't know
Yeah.
she doesn't know where half the stuff is.
Oh no, yeah, well, like it's we have so many stuff accumulated. Like I'm now I'm on the way. I'm not back home. It's okay, but like when I'm back home, I'm trying to get a corner, but I don't. I want to be still clean because so many things. Like I think I have 50, 60 snares, so
Oh wow.
it's it. Yeah, I have a huge collection, so I try to put them in a corner. If not, she will be like, "Can you sell some of those?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
not right now."
Guitar
No,
players can hide their guitars under beds and stuff like that and stack them up, and they can get away with
yeah.
a little bit more. But drums just take up a lot of room. Not much
A
you
lot
can
of
do.
room. Yeah. But I think it was some of history. I don't know for you, even some you're making. I mean, the point is like I have some snare remind me of a time in my life. Like yeah, I get those, and I was in a good period, like less good, like on tour, not on tour, working with an artist. So some have like it's more memories. If you buy like a painting, you put on your wall.
Right.
Some people have memories with that, or pictures. For me, it's more my drum stuff. It's funny, I'm not getting so much close to drums. I prefer my snare, cymbals, even pedals. I have a few pedals I really like. But drums, I have a few drums, but I can sell them if it's really a kit I really, really dig and I really love it, I will keep it. But if not, I had so many. It depends really of what I will use, and most of the time, they're not my kit or backline company. If you didn't hear the kit, they bought a kit for me, the spec I wanted and what I wanted, but it's not mine. The kit is for the
Yeah.
production. And that's it.
Right.
So most of the time, I never play on my kit, but the snare, yes, most of the time they are mine. So
Yeah.
I bring mine. So that's why it's cool for you because you can make drums, but the good things as your company as woods is you make snares so people can add them to their collection, and you can, I'm sure, how's the percentage you sell snare versus drum, like in general, like
99% snare drums. Just
okay.
because I'm just not. I just kind of, in the last couple of years started doing kits, but basically my kits are. I haven't really done too many custom orders on kits. It's more.
The snare.
Yeah, like tons of snare drums. I'll do kits basically when I feel like it, kind of thing, right? Like I'll have a kid on the go every now and then, sort of thing.
Yep.
Um, it's I might be doing more of them in the future. I'm not too sure. I they're fun to do too, but I mean, snare drums, like in, 5 snare drums versus a 5-piece kit is a better, it's better for me.
Yeah, I get. Oh yeah, for sure. And I seen you guys like, I mean, travel like with your drums, your snare. You got a lot of, along like in expos and drum community. Like I saw you. You were like recently like in the US, like in
Yeah.
one drum. Like kind of the NAM show. What was what which one was the Chicago, or which one was the last
This
one?
year in July, we were down at the Music City Drum Show in
Yeah,
Nashville.
yeah.
That was the third annual one, and it was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was great. And the year before that, we were at the Chicago Drum Show, not the last one. They had the one before. We did that one, and that was really cool. But really, we're going to be doing. I say work, so I travel with Ron all the time because we're a good tag team. And we're going to do the Music City Drum Show next year as well, for sure. I figure
This is
that's
good way.
the best
We can
place
make
to make a
publicity.
dent in the music scene
Yep.
is Nashville, if you ask me. That's where the music is. I can't believe how many drummers are in that town. It is amazing. It's crazy.
Crazy. And they have a good I don't know, many places you can perform is amazing, the number of bars and theater.
Yeah.
But that's a good spot for you because they have major, one of the major studios are in Nashville.
Mhm.
So and I think it's good way for you as a like an artist craftsman, like, because I think your drum are like really art, so you can really connect with the people. And when you do that, compared to NAM show, is so big, so huge, it's more like it's a big trade show. These places maybe is well targeted for you because you can really connect with drummer directly and make good sales and make good connection. And
Yeah.
your snare are not going to be just on the shelf, they're going to be used to record stuff. So that's
Right.
actually, I think, it's very good for you as a
It-
business.
yeah. And you know what else is everyone's using backline in town, right? I mean, go
Yeah,
down to Broadway. It's
a
just
third.
bar after bar after bar, and everyone's just using the
Yep,
backline. What are they bringing? They're bringing their snare drums and
exactly.
their cymbals. So there's lots of drummers down there who are packing snare drums around. So I saw that instantly after we did the Chicago show. We drove down to Nashville. It was my first time there, and I was just like, I couldn't believe, never seen so much music and live performing going on. I mean, I'm watching guys finish a set, pack up their stuff real quick. They're going across the street and they're going upstairs in another bar and they're playing a gig there. And guys are
It's
doing
done.
like from 10 a.m. in the morning till midnight. Like it's
Yep.
just like I've never seen anything like it. It still blows my mind to
I
it's
know.
just crazy. I
It's
don't
hard.
understand.
I know. I've been 3 months there, like live on tour, and I have friends from Nashville, and the bars start at 10 a.m. and they close at 2 or 3 at night, 3 a.m. So imagine and they need to do 4 hour shift. So it's 4 hour you play
Yeah,
and you cannot stop. So sometime my friend, they were asking me, come see me. So I was going to see their show. But the point is, like, they likes to have a drummer or guitar player friend, because if they want to go to pee, they're gonna
yeah,
ask you, you want to play a song or two? So you jumped in, they go, they can have a break, and you come back, and it's super
yeah.
funny. But imagine that I have a friend who could do like 3 run per day. So it's mean like 12 hours music
Geez,
per day.
yeah, crazy. I mean, I'm imagining. I mean, and it sounds like they get paid fairly decently there. Like I just compared to what my band gets paid here, we don't make nothing.
Oh no,
Like for originals. I mean, the cover scene, yeah, I get paid a little bit, but just talking to some guys down there, it seems like it's pretty fair. You really want to hustle down there, you probably make a pretty decent living. It sounds like you're working your ass off, but it sounds like it's not too bad of a deal down there. A lot better than in Vancouver here, I'll tell you that much.
yeah, it depends of the scenes. Yeah, I know in BC depends. Like, I know I went to Vancouver Island in Victoria, like and I've seen some bars there. It's nice. Like Murray is there, so Murray Creed. So he was telling me there's a few
Very,
cool bar there. Yeah, but the point, yeah, but it's hard to beat like places like Nashville for playing around bars. There's so many,
yeah.
but it's good for you. And did you make some good connection, like to land some snare or like in or some or future partnership with some drummers, or like you how it end up at the end, like with connection or music store?
Yeah, definitely met the first year I went down there, I made a connection with Nelson Drum Shop.
Okay. Yeah.
Now they carry my stuff there, which is awesome.
Oh, cool.
And that's that's a real cool place there. And I did meet a lot of people this time that have followed me for the last few years and who knew who I was, and that always blows my mind when people come up to me and say they want to meet me, and it's just like, oh,
Yep.
okay, cool. And a lot of people actually the next day we were actually during the daytime killing some time walking down on Broadway, and there were some drummers who were actually playing, and they seen us walking, and they're like banging on the window.
Like, hey.
They recognized us. So it was that's pretty cool. So
That's cool.
it makes it all worth it right there. Just that kind of stuff,
Yeah, and it's and do you have any project to go to other like kind of trade show like that in the next month or 2024? What are your next step?
I guess probably the next large one would be Nashville again, which would be next year, and then before that would be the Victoria Drum Festival with Murray, the one Murray puts on, and I believe he does that in May, so that would be the next one. We haven't missed any of those. COVID's canceled a few of them, but we go over for those every time. Murray does an awesome job, and that's always a really cool festival. Awesome artists all the time.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah,
it's very good. But well, we have a few minutes left anyway, so time fly. Do you have any like things you're planning to do, like you would like to do as a craftsman, like do you something you didn't do yet, and I know you have a lot of ideas, but something you would like to put together, like another custom snare or different kind of shells or mixture of wood, or you have like some cool stuff you could tell us a bit for the next 2 years, let's say, like you would like to put on the table?
Yeah, I probably want to venture into the drum kit realm a little bit more. Probably. That's one thing that I've been putting some thought into. And then also my good friend Caitlin Coral out of Detroit, who's doing the wood burning stuff, who does a fabulous job. I'm definitely gonna be working on some more projects with her. Secretive projects. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but and the wheels are always rolling in my head, and sometimes I just, like something comes to me like that, and I'm in there in the shop working on it. So I'm always progressing, but organically. I've never wanted to push anything. Always just want everything just to let it naturally kind of happen, and it's worked really good for me up to this point, and I'm just going to keep on doing that.
Yeah, congratulations for that, because when you push too much, sometimes it can be maybe it won't work. But if you go like with natural, like you have a line to you follow in your life, things going on connect to you, and also you are a custom company. The point is, like, if you take too much is good, but you will need resources, more people to work with you, more to accept all these things, so it's another challenge you have to consider, I guess, because if you are like, let's say you receive an order of like 500 snare, is cool, but you need to produce them in one shot, like Guitar Center call you.
That would be difficult. See, I have a problem with I want to be hands-on on everything, so that poses a bit of a problem for for quantities, which is okay with me, because that's kind of my thing. That's what I think is going to set me apart from everybody else, where is that I'll pump them out, but I'm going to be pumping them all out on my own. Who knows what'll happen in the future, if something was meant to be and felt right, then who knows. But there's just a path that I'm on, and I just keep on following it and see where it goes.
Well, that's perfect. That's and I'm sure you would have like cool things coming out like that. Hey, thanks is already done. you where the people can reach you, where the people can see your product. Tell us like where everybody can discover your drums and snare.
Yeah, well, I have my website, which is of course not updated as often as it should be, but there is an Instagram feed on there, which is woodscustomdrums.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and it's all Woods Custom Drums. I'm always updating my Instagram. It's all stories now on Instagram, right? So sometimes I'll put some silly stuff on there and try and get some laughs or whatnot. But those are the main platforms where you can see what's going on and the newest ideas that I got.
Crazy. Hey, thanks for being with us. And I really like, honestly, I think it's super cool. You do like custom kit and ply, and like, can you like when you really give your heart on it? And I'm sure everybody should try one of your snare. Actually, I would like to go one when I will back in the mainland. Let's I'm gonna try to get one of the one shot of one of your snare because I'm very far away right now. So,
Yeah.
but but it's cool, man, and I'm sure you will have like just good things coming out in the next month and year. So thank you for being with us on Drumfills Cafe. It was a pleasure, and well, I wish you just good luck, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. It's been a blast, man.
Take care. Bye bye. Take
See
care.
ya.
So if you want more information, like Jeff was mentioning, you can go on his website. You will find like Snare or Instagram. If you have any question, you cannot reach him. You can always contact us. One of the team of DFK will answer you, and we're gonna send the question to Jeff directly. Thank you for being there, and see you next week.